In today's video, we'll be diving into the story of the SS Southern Cross, a ship built by none other than the famous shipbuilders Harland and Wolff. This wasn't just any passenger liner. The Southern Cross was the first ship over 20,000 gross registered tons to be built with her engine room located near the stern instead of amidships, a revolutionary change in ship design at the time. But that's not all. She was also the first major liner to have no cargo space, carrying only ship's stores and passenger luggage. Throughout her long career, she would sail under many names and owners, from Southern Cross to Calypso, Azure Seas, and finally, Ocean Breeze. Hello everybody, it's Jamie from Old Shipping Lines, and today we're covering the full and fascinating history of the SS Southern Cross, from her construction and years of service to her final voyage to the scrapyard in 2003. The ship would begin her life as the SS Southern Cross. Her first owners would be the shipping line Shaw, Saville, and Albion Line. The Southern Cross was conceived in the early 1950s as the new flagship of the Shaw, Saville, and Albion Line, intended for the Europe-Australia immigrant service. However, she was far from a typical migrant vessel. During the planning phase, company chairman Basil Sanderson proposed a groundbreaking design, relocating the ship's engines and funnel to the rear. This innovative layout freed up the more stable and comfortable midship area, traditionally the best location for passenger spaces for cabins and public rooms. After convincing the board of the concept's merits, Sanderson saw his vision move forward. So, on 16th July 1952, an order for the all-passenger liner was officially placed with the renowned Harland and Wolff shipyard. And now, if we quickly go over the specifications of this vessel. When the ship was built, she had a gross registered tonnage of 20,204 tons. Her overall length measured 184.5 meters, which is approximately 604 feet. The ship had a beam of 24 meters, or about 78.4 feet. Although the new ship was intended as an all-tourist class vessel for an immigrant route, she featured surprisingly luxurious amenities for her time. All passenger cabins were air-conditioned and equipped with hot and cold running water. Interior cabins were fitted with circular lights that gradually brightened in the morning to simulate a sunrise. However, private bathroom facilities were reserved only for the most expensive accommodations. Thanks to the aft funnel design, the ship boasted a spacious open lido deck amidships, which included a 5,000 square foot sports deck area. Alongside the two outdoor pools, the ship also offered an indoor swimming pool. All interior public areas were fully air-conditioned and featured a variety of amenities, including a 2-deck high cinema that could also serve as a dance hall, 2 large lounges, a pair of restaurants, a writing room with an adjoining library, and a dedicated smoking room. The interior decor made extensive use of wood paneling and was designed to be light, open, and modern, ensuring a comfortable atmosphere even in the warmest tropical climates. Externally, the ship featured an entirely new design. Unlike traditional layouts, her funnel was positioned far aft, while the bridge was placed closer to midships rather than at the usual forward location. As a result, the superstructure extended well beyond the bridge toward the bow. These unconventional design choices didn't garner much praise at the time. A contemporary review even remarked that she was not very beautiful, but very efficient. The vessel was capable of reaching a speed of 20 knots. In 1953, Basil Sanderson reached out to Buckingham Palace with a special request. He asked if Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II would be willing to both name and launch the new ship. The Queen accepted and selected the name Southern Cross from a list of proposed names. On 17 August 1954, the Southern Cross was launched, marking a historic moment as the first passenger liner ever to be launched by a reigning British monarch. The Southern Cross appeared in the distinctive new Shaw Savile liner livery, featuring a pale grey painted hull and the iconic dark buff funnel topped in black. This was beautifully complemented by the innovative use of pale green eau de Nil paint on the superstructure. On 23 February 1955, the Southern Cross was officially delivered to her owners. Following her sea trials in late January, she set sail on 29 March for her maiden voyage to Australia and New Zealand. The 76-day westward voyage from Southampton included stops at Trinidad, Curaçao, the Panama Canal, Tahiti, Fiji, Wellington, Auckland, Sydney, Melbourne, Fremantle, Durban, Cape Town, Las Palmas, before returning to Southampton. Under normal circumstances, she would complete up to 4 such circumnavigations each year. The Southern Cross experienced significant success in the early years of her service with Shaw Savile. As a result, in the late 1950s, a second ship with a similar design but larger size was commissioned. This new vessel, the SS Northern Star, began service in 1962. Upon her arrival, the Northern Star took over the eastbound Australian route, previously served by Southern Cross, while the Southern Cross switched to the westbound itinerary, visiting the same ports but in the opposite order. During the 1960s, increasing competition from other passenger liners and the rise of the jet airplane put financial strain on Shaw Savile's year-round service to Australia and New Zealand. In a surprising move, their parent company, Furness Wethy, transferred 3 former Royal Mail Lines cargo passenger ships, each of 20,300 tons and with a capacity of 464 passengers, to Shaw Savile in 1968 and 1969. Then, in early 1970, Shaw Savile acquired the RMS Empress of England, a transatlantic liner from the Canadian Pacific Steamship Company. Renamed SS Ocean Monarch, the ship immediately sailed to Australasia to undertake 2 extended cruises from Australia to Japan, timed to coincide with Expo 70. After returning to Britain, the Ocean Monarch underwent a major refit to better suit her for full-time cruising. The obsolete cargo holds and their handling gear were removed, and the aft section of the ship was extensively rebuilt. This allowed for the addition of new public areas and cabins, increasing her passenger capacity to 1,372. However, prolonged delays at the dockyard meant Ocean Monarch didn't return to service until October 1971. Over the course of just 3 years, Shaw Savile's passenger fleet expanded from 2 ships to 6, with the Southern Cross still the oldest vessel in the lineup. From June 1971 onward, the Southern Cross was employed for cruises from Southampton and Liverpool, 2 Mediterranean ports. While her design was generally well suited for cruising, the lack of private facilities in all cabins made her difficult to market. Due to declining profitability, Shaw Savile decided to lay up the Southern Cross after just 5 months of cruising, in November of that same year. Ironically, this early withdrawal likely saved her, as she avoided the poor maintenance that plagued her fleet mates in the following years, ships that were younger but ended up being sold for scrap by 1974. After being laid up for over a year initially in Southampton and later at the River Fowl, the Southern Cross was sold in January 1973 to Ulysses Lines of Greece and renamed SS Calypso. The ship was moved to Piraeus for conversion into a full-time cruise ship. While much of the original interior layout remained, the indoor pool was replaced with a disco, and the furnishings were updated to a modern minimalist style, featuring chrome and plastic in line with the latest SOLAS regulations. The cabins were also refurbished to include private bathrooms throughout, which lowered the passenger capacity slightly from 1,160 to 1,000. Painted in bright cruise whites and sporting an attractive blue and white funnel, the Calypso began service with Ulysses Lines in March 1975, initially sailing Mediterranean cruises from Piraeus. After a few months, she was chartered to UK-based Thomson Cruises, operating cruises from Tilbury and Southampton. However, Thomson exited the cruise business in 1976. The Calypso then returned to Ulysses Lines, resuming Mediterranean cruises and undertaking a season sailing around South America in 1978 to 1979. Starting in 1979, she also operated 7-night Caribbean cruises departing from Miami. At some point during her career, the Calypso sailed from New York to Bermuda as well. In 1980, she was renamed SS Calypso 1 and began cruising from Los Angeles to Alaska. In late 1980, the Calypso was sold once again, this time to the US-based Eastern Cruise Lines, who launched West Coast service under the name Western Cruise Lines. She would be renamed the SS Azure Seas. The ship underwent another interior makeover to reflect contemporary styles. A new casino was added where the forward pool had been. Her official passenger capacity was reduced to 821. With a dark blue funnel, the Azure Seas began offering popular 3- and 4-night cruises from Los Angeles to Ensenada and Catalina. In 1986, Western Cruise Lines and Eastern Cruise Lines merged with their West Coast competitor Sundance Cruises to form Admiral Cruises. No change was made to the Azure Seas itinerary, however. In the late 1980s, the ship was again refurbished. This time, the casino was relocated to the former cinema balcony, while conference rooms and cabins were constructed in the space previously occupied by the casino. The Azure Seas continued her popular West Coast cruises until 1991, when she was reassigned to operate cruises from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas. However, that same year, Admiral Cruises was acquired by Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. The new owners showed little interest in retaining the aging Azure Seas, and she was subsequently sold to Dolphin Cruise Line. Renamed SS Ocean Breeze and adorned with a new white funnel and flowing blue stripes along the hull, the 36-year-old ship began operating 7-night cruises from Aruba in 1992. In 1996, she shifted to sailing from New York and Florida. The following year, after Dolphin Cruise Line merged with Premier Cruises and Seawind Cruises to form Premier Cruise Line, the Ocean Breeze was repainted in the company's new colors, featuring a dark blue funnel and a blue and yellow hull, while her cruising schedule remained largely the same. In 1999, Premier Cruise Lines chartered the Ocean Breeze to the newly established Imperial Majesty Cruises. The ship retained her original name, crew, and hull colors, with only the company name on the hull and the funnel logo updated. Imperial Majesty placed the Ocean Breeze on 2-night cruises from Fort Lauderdale to Nassau, where she quickly gained popularity. Later that year, Imperial Majesty Cruises decided to purchase the ship outright. In October 2000, the Ocean Breeze underwent a $3.5 million refurbishment at Newport News, receiving modernized interiors. Many expected her to continue sailing until the new SOLAS regulations came into effect in 2010. However, this proved not to be the case. Although the Ocean Breeze was popular, she was poorly suited to the short 2-night itineraries. Operating a steam turbine-powered ship on such routes was costly, and an additional $5 million would have been required to upgrade the vessel to meet the Americans with Disabilities Act standards. Additionally, lacking both thrusters, the ship required expensive tug assistance at every port call. When a more profitable lease opportunity arose in June 2003 for the MS Regal Empress, a vessel with fewer operational restrictions, Imperial Majesty Cruises chose to sell the Ocean Breeze for scrap. A campaign called Save the Southern Cross was launched immediately afterward, despite numerous offers of support and months of dedicated effort. The ship was ultimately beached on November 5, 2003, at the Ahmed Mustaba Steel Industries Yard, about 18 kilometers from Chittagong, Bangladesh, where she was dismantled for scrap metal. And that's the incredible story of the SS Southern Cross, a truly revolutionary ship that broke the mold in design and sailed through a remarkable journey under many names and owners. From her innovative aft-engine layout to her glamorous cruising days and eventual farewell at the scrapyard, Southern Cross remains a fascinating chapter in maritime history.
And that marks the end of a video, my friends. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, if you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing to the channel, as that would help out the channel a lot. Now, if you have any thoughts, comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section down below, as I absolutely love reading your comments. And please let me know in the comment section down below as well what ships you would like me to cover in the future. Now be as well sure to check out our social media pages. We are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, and we also recently have a website, oldshippinglines.com, where we have articles of the ships we cover and we have book reviews as well. I think you will enjoy the website very much. Now, with that out of the way, guys, I wish you all a good night or day, wherever you are. Stay safe, stay happy, and we will see each other on the next video. Goodbye, my friends.